Hi, how's it going? This is No Fate and welcome to the video. In this one, I'm breaking down this amazing class setup for the KASTOV 74U in Modern Warfare 2. And I'm excited to bring this one to you. Truthfully, I do a lot of gun builds, but this one is honestly killer. I'm not trying to say it to like make it a commercial or try to hype it up. This one is actually like game changing. I've been using this one a lot and I'm supposed to be ranking up guns. And I just keep going back to this and just trying to have fun and just playing matches with it. It seriously has like doubled my KD. So I'm really excited to get into this one. Tiny kind of a plug. I hate plugging my channel. I'm intentionally not trying to do it. But I do this video concept as a short. So if you don't have time and you want all this information, just super quick down and dirty where I show, you know, the build, the tuning, etc. in like 30 seconds. It might be worth you subscribing just to stay up to date with that. Dirty plug over. So here's the overall class that I've been using with the AK-74U or the KASTOV 74U as it's called in Modern Warfare 2. You can pretty much use what you like, but I guess the most important thing is the perk package that I run. Double time, tracker, fast hand, and quick fix. We're going to dive really deep into the gun and like why it's so good, because really it's a bit of a hack. And I'll tell you why in a second, but let's talk about the perk package. So double time obviously just makes you super rapid. This gun is really speedy, which is really, really good. And yeah, I don't want to spoil the build, but it's all about like, you know, quick ADS and getting in and out of gunfights super quick. So that's good. Tracker, I've been having a lot of success with this. I'm not really a tracker guy. I've only recently changed this and it has been quite helpful in a couple of situations to get me that extra kill or two. Fast hands is like, I've been using this since day one. Really, really good. I just can't stand like really long reloads. Really, really good just to reload quicker for me. And the last, you know, the ultimate perk, it's a toss up between quick fix and ghost. For me, I really like quick fix once you get it, because obviously it takes, you know, a few minutes or a minute or so to unlock quick fix during the match. But once you get it and you're taking out enemies and healing super quick, it is really, really powerful. For the tacticals, this is, I guess, kind of an important thing. Tacticals, I use stim, which is really, really good as well until you unlock quick fix. When you unlock quick fix, it's not so necessary, but basically this is my like pre-quick fix, if that makes sense. But now let's take a look at this build. Honestly, I don't get this excited, but this one is really, really good. And I'm trying not to sound like super hype YouTube guy, but this one is really sick. As you've probably seen for the clips that I've put in this video, it's just ridiculous. So the only caveat is that I haven't unlocked everything for the gun, because as you know, in this game, you have to unlock like loads of things with different weapons that I just haven't got around to yet. That is my goal at the moment. As I said, I'm supposed to be leveling up guns and unlocking stuff, but I've just been playing with this setup because it's so fun. Anyway, so I'm going to get into, first of all, why is the KASTOV 74U so good? And what did I mean earlier about it being like a hack? This is the reason why. Essentially, the KASTOV 74U is treated as an assault rifle. But most of you might say, well, the AK-74U is actually an SMG, right? I'm not a weapons expert, but in every game, you can see it just by the shape of the gun. It's super short, like, you know, stubby. It looks like an SMG. And as you can see against all the other kind of like assault rifles, you know, they don't have as good handling and mobility. That's because this is like a super aggressive assault rifle. In short, this is kind of like something in between an SMG and an assault rifle. It's an SMG with the power of an assault rifle. The thing is, you just need to kind of give it that mobility and handling, and technically some recoil control as well, because stat wise, looking at it at base, it's not that great. So you just really need to tame it. So that's what I've been looking at with this build. So just take a look at SMGs, for example. I mean, compared to the KASTOV 74, it doesn't have much damage or range. So this is what I'm talking about. And you can see this kind of like across the board. No other SMG has the power and range that this gun has. KASTOV 74U, it has it all. You know, you can make it feel like an SMG, but it has that damage and power and range. It's crazy, honestly. So that's kind of like the theory or the idea that I've had getting this build to where it is. And then also I'm going to talk about the tuning, but I'll talk about that after we actually talk about this build. So if you guys just want to take this and run with it, that's absolutely fine, guys. You go and have fun, try this build out. You're not going to You're not going to lose out. You're not going to be upset. But I want to talk about each attachment. So before I do that, I guess the main thing that I said before about making this gun really, really strong is we don't really want to touch the damage and range, because as I said, it already has that naturally. The thing that we want to do is make this assault rifle feel more like this SMG. So the thing that I've been focusing on are these 3 stats down here: recoil control, mobility, and handling. It's very difficult with the attachments to actually push all 3. So that's why I've been really focusing overall, is to not lose damage, not lose fire rate, range, accuracy, all of these things, not to lose too much, but really to push as much handling and mobility as possible. In the end, it was just a really decent push in handling and accuracy. Just a tiny knock on recoil control. This recoil control that you can see on screen here, that is just complete, like, no, I'm not controlling that recoil whatsoever. You start in the chest or lower body, and it just naturally just flows up to the head and kills with a headshot. Even on hip fire, as you can see here, it's pretty decent at kind of like close. Obviously at close, super close range, it's going to be really, really good. But up to kind of like mid range, it starts to suck, but it's still pretty decent at like 20 meters, something like that. So trying to focus on that mobility and that handling, I went for this BR209 barrel, plus movement speed, plus ADS speed. And as you can see on screen and the clips that I've shown, this ADS speed is nuts in an AR, an assault rifle, baby. Come on. So the only thing we lack is a little bit of bullet velocity and recoil control. I didn't really like that, but I kept going into the firing range and testing out the recoil control, and obviously it's coming out really, really good. So I'm happy with it. For the underbarrel, I went for the VX Pineapple. This is for the recoil steadiness, and it's really good push in recoil control that we get overall. For the rear grip, I went for the True Tac Grip. This gives you a buff in the sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed with a slight knock to recoil control. Again, this is why I was worried. I was thinking, well, I've got to pull this recoil control back because it's going to be really, really bad. And then you try it out and it's just amazing. So the optic, I just go now for one of the 2 blue dots. So for this build, I went for the Cronin Mini Pro, but you can switch it up for whatever one you guys like. You could even run it without the optic and go for a laser, for example, or something on the muzzle. I know a lot of people like to run this broadhead, but I actually found that this damage range knock actually did get me to lose a few gunfights, so I took it off. And as for the stock, I went for the Spetsnaz S10 stock. It gives you quite a lot: aiming stability, crouch movement speed, aim down sight speed, and sprint speed, all for like nerf to aim walking speed and recoil control. So now for potentially the most important bit. This is where you really dial this gun in and make it what it is. The difference between this detuned and tuned is like night and day. So let's get into it. So for the barrel, on this side, I went for pure aim walking speed. I aim walk a lot. That's kind of just like my style. If you guys want more recoil steadiness, I guess you could kind of bring this back. Just keep your eyes on this graph here, because this is quite interesting, and I'm thinking about making another video where there are certain points where like you can find like a sweet spot between the things that you need. But for this example, I just wanted to get that aim walking speed right up because it's pretty steady, like when you're ADS'd in. But I just wanted to keep that speed up. And down here, I went for pure damage range. We've got so many other attachments that focus on aim down sight speed. If you want even more ADS speed, you could always like pull that over or just keep it kind of balanced. But I just wanted some power. I wanted this thing to be killer. So I pushed that all the way to the right. For the underbarrel, I tuned it like this. I left this one neutral. I didn't want to touch it because, to be honest, hip walking speed and hip recoil control, I didn't really want to like sacrifice recoil and mobility. So I kind of just left that as it is. And to be honest, I thought, well, I'll see how it plays out and then I'll come back to it. And I was just super happy with it. So I didn't touch it. But here's one where I went for, instead of hip fire accuracy, I went for ADS speed. I'm going to push it. I want to see how bad the hip fire accuracy was. But as I said in the beginning or earlier in the video, it's really, really strong anyway. For the grip, this is how I tuned it. I kind of just dialed it down a bit, the weight towards aim down sight speed. You could go even further and get less recoil, but I left it round about here, and that feels kind of good to me. Also here, going through mobility and handling, I pushed this all the way to sprint to fire speed, giving it this kind of super snappiness out of sprint, which is really one of the big game changers of this setup. For the stock, I pushed this all the way down again to ADS speed, and I left this one neutral. And lastly, for the optic, again, I pushed this down for ADS speed, and I pushed this all the way over to far. So you can just see that gives you a little bit more accuracy, which is always nice. So that's it for the video. I don't want these videos to be too long. I want to get all the juicy information with you guys in a quick way, but also explaining the decisions and why I've made them. I want you guys to let me know down in the comments if you like the build, if you want to see more, all of that kind of stuff. I do really want to know how you get on with this build and if you are as impressed as I am with it. But thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope to see you soon. Take care. Peace.